Have you ever wondered why the tortoise, one of the slowest creatures on Earth, is often celebrated in folklore and myths worldwide? Well, the answer is simple yet profound. The tortoise embodies virtues like patience, wisdom, and determination. It's these qualities, not speed, that often determine success. Let's delve a bit deeper into this interesting notion. You've probably heard of the famous Aesop's fable, The Tortoise and the Hare. It's a simple story, really. There's a speedy hare who, confident in his agility, challenges the tortoise to a race. The hare, thinking he's got the race in the bag, decides to take a nap midway, while the tortoise, slow as he is, keeps moving forward. When the hare wakes up, he finds, to his utter disbelief, that the tortoise is just crossing the finish line. Now, you might be thinking, that's just a children's story. But isn't it interesting how this tale has stood the test of time, passed down from generation to generation? That's because it's not just a story, it's a lesson about the power of consistency and determination. The tortoise wasn't the fastest, the strongest, or the most impressive. But what the tortoise had was persistence. He never stopped, never wavered. He moved forward step by step, inch by inch, and in the end it was the tortoise who triumphed, not because he was faster, but because he was consistent. But let's not forget the hare. The hare was not just a mere antagonist, he was a reminder. A reminder that overconfidence can lead to complacency, and complacency, more often than not, leads to downfall. The tortoise's victory against the hare wasn't a fluke, it was a testament to the power of determination and consistency. The story of the tortoise and the hare is more than just a fable. It's a reminder that in the race of life it's not always the swift who win the race, but those who keep running. So let's unpack the tortoise's strategy in the next scene, shall we? So what was it about the tortoise's approach that helped it to win the race? This is a fascinating question that stirs our curiosity. Let's delve into this. The tortoise's strategy was not complex or shrouded in mystery. It was simple, yet profoundly effective. Its slow pace, for instance, seems counterintuitive in a race, yet it allowed the tortoise to maintain a consistent speed without exhausting itself. It understood that the race was not about speed, but about endurance. Take marathon runners. They don't start off in a sprint, instead, they set a pace they can maintain throughout the race. They understand that burning out too early could cost them the race. The tortoise, in its wisdom, knew this too. Another notable aspect of the tortoise's strategy was its focus. The tortoise never let anything distract it from its goal. It didn't waste time looking around or worrying about the hare's progress. It simply kept moving forward, one step at a time. Think about a student preparing for a big exam. Those who concentrate on their studies, avoiding distractions, are more likely to succeed. They may not have the most exciting social life during this period, but they're focused on the prize, a passing grade. Then there's determination. The tortoise was not deterred by the hare's speed or the distance it had to cover. It was determined to reach the finish line no matter how long it took. This determination is akin to an athlete training for the Olympics. They may not be the strongest or fastest initially, but their unwavering determination often makes them a formidable competitor. Lastly, let's talk about consistency. The tortoise was consistent. It didn't rush then slow down or take unnecessary breaks. It kept a steady pace throughout the race. This is a lesson for anyone working towards a long-term goal. Consistency often yields better results than sporadic bursts of effort. Slow and steady may not be flashy or exciting, but it often leads to success. The tortoise embodied this principle, proving that speed is not always the key to victory. Sometimes it's about endurance, focus, determination, and consistency. In our fast-paced world, where instant gratification is the norm, can the tortoise's approach still hold any relevance? Let's delve into this. The tortoise's strategy is synonymous with patience, consistency, and a steady pace. But how does this translate to the hustle and bustle of our modern lives? Consider the business sphere, where success doesn't come overnight. The most successful companies weren't built in a day. Take Amazon, for instance. It began as a humble online bookstore, and it took years of patience, consistent efforts, and steady growth to become the global behemoth it is today. The tortoise's approach is evident here. It's not about the quick wins, but the long-term vision. Now let's move on to academia. The tortoise's approach rings true here too. Acquiring knowledge and skills is a gradual process. A student doesn't become a mathematician by solving a single complex equation. It takes years of consistent learning, constant practice, and a steady progress to master a subject. The journey of learning, much like the tortoise's race, is about moving forward, however slow it might seem. And what about personal growth? Well, the same principles apply. Whether we're trying to develop a new habit, learn a new skill, or break an old one, it's the consistent daily efforts that make the difference. We don't transform overnight. Personal growth is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about making small but steady changes and sticking to them day in and day out. So, does the tortoise's approach still hold any relevance in our world? Absolutely. In our fast-paced lives where we often crave instant results, the tortoise's approach serves as a timely reminder that good things take time. It encourages us to be patient, to remain consistent, and to value steady progress over quick wins. The tortoise's approach isn't outdated. In fact, in our world of constant change and chaos, it's more relevant than ever. What can we learn from the tortoise, and how can we apply these lessons in our lives? Let's delve into this. The tortoise embodies a set of values that are timeless and universal. Patience, determination, consistency, and the importance of pacing oneself are all lessons we can learn from the tortoise. Let's start with patience. In a world that glorifies instant gratification, the tortoise teaches us the value of waiting. Consider the farmer who waits for his crops to grow. He can't rush the process. He must patiently tend to his fields day after day, trusting that in due time, his harvest will come. Similarly, success in any aspect of life requires patience. It's about planting seeds today and nurturing them, knowing that the fruits of your labor will eventually come. Next, let's talk about determination. The tortoise is known for its unwavering determination. It doesn't let obstacles deter it from its path. It keeps going, one small step at a time. This is a powerful lesson for us. Life is filled with obstacles, but if we stay determined and keep moving forward, no matter how slow, we will eventually reach our destination. Then comes consistency. The tortoise's journey is not about speed, it's about steady, consistent progress. This is a virtue often overlooked in our fast-paced world. But whether it's building a healthy habit, learning a new skill, or working towards a goal, consistency is key. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but what we do consistently. Lastly, the tortoise underscores the importance of pacing oneself. In our quest for success, it's easy to burn out. The tortoise reminds us that it's not about how quickly we reach our destination, but whether we get there at all. It's about maintaining a pace that we can sustain over the long haul. So what can we learn from the tortoise? Patience, determination, consistency, and the importance of pacing oneself. These are not just lessons, they are keys to a fulfilling life. Remember, it's not always the fastest who win the race. Sometimes, it's the most consistent. Are you ready to embrace the tortoise's approach in your life? It's not about drastic changes or grand gestures. The tortoise's approach is about small, consistent steps that lead to significant progress over time. It's about understanding that the biggest mountains are climbed not in leaps and bounds, but one step at a time. Let's talk about personal goals. Maybe you want to get in shape, write a book, learn a new language. Instead of overwhelming yourself with the enormity of the task, break it down. If it's fitness you're after, start with a 15-minute walk a day. If you want to write a book, aim for a paragraph a day. For learning a new language, start by learning 5 new words each day. Small steps, remember? In the professional sphere, the tortoise's approach can be equally beneficial. Perhaps you aspire to be a manager or CEO of a company. Instead of rushing towards the goal, focus on acquiring the necessary skills one at a time. Gain experience, learn from your mistakes, and gradually climb the ladder. Personal growth and development is another area where the tortoise's approach shines. Self-improvement is a journey, not a destination. It's about becoming a little better each day, not overnight. Start by identifying areas you want to improve in, then take small, consistent steps towards betterment. It could be as simple as reading a self-help book for 15 minutes a day, or practicing mindfulness for 5 minutes every morning. The tortoise's approach is not about being slow, it's about being steady, being patient, and being persistent. It's about understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that real, lasting change takes time. So, are you ready to take the first small step towards your goals? Are you ready to embrace the power of consistency, persistence, and patience? As the tortoise has taught us, slow and steady can indeed win the race. So take your time, be consistent, and remember the race is not always to the swift.